Yeah. Hello everybody. So, it has been a very popular request for you guys to see me detail my car. What I'm going to do is, I'll show you all the products that I'm going to use and everything like that, but I'm going to use a lot of steps and a lot of different equipment to do literally a full detail on my very, very dirty car. Winter's coming up and I really just want to go through and strip everything that I've done previously. I'm going to give it a good repolish and then I'm going to reseal it just for weather and everything like that. It's actually supposed to rain Thursday, I believe, but whenever you have a fully detailed car like I will show you today, rain actually just basically is scared of it. It just runs right off of it and it's non-existent. But anyways, so today I will be showing you the long process of me detailing my car, and a big thanks to one of my buddies, Alex Ray. He's actually taught me a lot of the stuff that I use, but for the most part, he taught me most of the stuff that I know, but I also owe a lot of gratitude to a lot of the videos and stuff I've watched online. But that being said, you can read and watch videos as much as you want, but you're never really going to learn how to detail a car until you go out there and you actually try. And if you don't succeed, well, you just literally keep on trying. It took me a while to actually get in the groove of using a dual action polisher and all this kind of stuff. But that being said, without wasting any more time, I will show you guys the long process of me fully detailing my car. And I will go ahead and start with the products that I use. Oh, too far. So I will give you guys a little bit more detail the further the video gets or when I'm actually doing stuff, but just to give you a general synopsis on what I'm doing, I'm going to start off with washing the car. That is the first step, and it's actually pretty much the most important step in keeping your car swirl free. It's extremely important to take precaution and wash it very well because it is extremely easy to install love marks on your vehicle, which are tiny little swirls that basically look like death in the sun. And I hate them. And I spot them on a lot of cars, and you will too as soon as you start doing detailing yourself. So, because I don't really care to invest in a power washer, and I have moved a lot recently and I don't really care to lug one around, I actually use a hose. But I bought this little guy off of Auto Geek. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I think it's just a foam gun type thing. I don't know, but it's a little pressure washer that hooks up to a normal hose. I think it was like 60 bucks. But essentially what you do is you mix you dilute a certain amount of soap and water into this. The soap I am using happens to be, well, not so much on the cheap side. There are other solutions you can use, but I'm actually using something from the chemical guys. This is their citrus wash. And the reason I have this is because it's extremely powerful and it's extremely efficient on removing your car's previous coat of wax without damaging your clear coat. I have in the past, and actually depending on the car, I still sometimes do use dish soap. Dish soap can be used, but it's a lot more harmful on your clear coat compared to a nicer soap. But I believe this little thing of chemical guys was like 45 or 50 bucks. So that compared to a little thing of like Ajax or something like that, it's a little bit different. But this is also on a lot more of a professional level. And by no means am I a professional or anything like that. And I will make a flaw. Probably in this video somebody will catch it and guess who cares. But anyways, I will give you more detail on on washing it as I start going. One of the most important things actually when it comes to detailing a car is you want to keep it out of the sun as much as you possibly can. When it comes to the washing process, it's not entirely important that you keep it out of the sun, but getting water spots is very irritating, and also soap can dry, and that's just, it's just annoying to work in the sun. So if you can, try to get in a nice cool garage, but especially if you are using anything like a dual action polisher like I'm about to grab and get out of the focus for. If you're using a dual action polisher, anything you use with this, you want to make sure you're inside. You do not want to be outside in the sun, anything like that, because, well, I don't really know. You just never know how these little products can react if the paint is too hot. So anyways, after that, I'm going to go from washing, and the next step after that, after drying, of course, is moving on to the paint. I'm going to be using, I actually Most people, now people will probably throw a fit because I'm about to say this, but I actually have a pad that I use for claying the car. I have done it by hand, I've also done it with a pad. It's a lot more efficient with the pad. I love it. I happen to love it a lot. Basically what you do is you stick the piece of clay in here, and this little foam cleans up any residue or anything like that outside of it, picks it up. I do wash it pretty regularly after I use it. Oh, that's a bee. I don't like bees in my face. But anyways, I use that, I clay the entire car, and what that does is that essentially it gets rid of any kind of rocks or imperfections inside of the paint that you cannot access whenever you are washing it by hand or by gun. After that, I'm going to start by compounding it and then polishing it and everything like that. I'm basically going to remove all the swirls. I have not compounded my car in a very long time. Actually, I have never compounded my car, so this will be nice because I'm going to get all the bigger swirls and scratches and stuff like that out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the polish and the swirl remover, everything like that. Because my swirls are not that deep, I'm going to use a fairly light cutting pad. I can't remember who makes this, but I get all my stuff basically from autogeek.net. So all this stuff is pretty much like the first thing you get whenever you search or you go into any kind of criteria or anything like that. But so after that, I'm going to move on to the wax and sealant. For that, I actually use a very, very, very soft cutting pad. This can't even be considered a cutting pad because it doesn't cut. This basically is designed to apply waxes and sealants. It's very, very, very soft, and it applies wax very well. And it's a lot better than trying to install wax by hand because, well, we all know that can be a pain in the butt, and you basically want to throw up because you are so tired afterwards. But for time's sake, I'm not going to do a whole lapse of me doing the entire car for the detailing portions with me using my dual action polisher. I'm only going to be showing you what I'm doing on the hood. And after I'm done, I will do basically an entire, I don't know, just a little segment on you guys looking at my car and seeing how shiny it is. But yeah, this will probably take me a good 4 to 5 hours to do in full, but it will be worth it, and I am ready for my car to be shiny again because it was crying earlier because of how dirty it was. It was crying. It wasn't crying. I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to go ahead and get started with this, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so basically what I just did was I just walked through like 15 spider webs going to get my hose, and it sucked. But that's irrelevant because what I actually did, the more important thing is I mixed this solution, I diluted it, and I did exactly the specifications that the bottle told me. Again, words are kind of hard today. Anyways, warm water with this. It's very warm. This soap was extremely viscous, very, very thick, which is kind of odd. I've never seen anything like it. But yeah, so I'm going to turn the hose on, and I'm going to back my car. Well, I'm going to kind of do some weird maneuver, but anyways, I'm going to get started, and I'm going to wear this. I'm going to wear this little weird GoPro setup on my head so you guys can check out what I'm doing. It looks really funky for my neighbors. So enjoy. All right. So basically, what I just did was I moved my car. I positioned it to basically to where it's perfectly centered in the garage, to where it's out of the sun completely, but also to where my hose can actually reach because it's a pretty long stretch. So yeah. Oh yeah, and everybody say hi to Evan's really weird, creepy GoPro setup. Okay, so I'm going to go turn on the hose and walk through 15 more spider webs and then get this guy rolling. Spiders. All right, so here comes the fun part. I get to start actually washing. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm using. I'm using a single bucket. I know a lot of you are about to throw a fit, but no, I don't really use that as much as you might think. I basically use that just for dipping my wheel brush and everything like that in. I use, since I have the Canon, I actually rinse off my mitt several times throughout whenever I'm using it. But I actually have 3 mitts that I use. One is dedicated for the top or upper part, like windows and everything like that, and actually the upper part of the car. Another one is dedicated for doing like the main parts of the body, and then I've got another one that's dedicated for the dirtier parts. I actually use this one because it does a better job of picking everything up and not just just spreading everything around, but it does a great job of picking it up So I use this for the more dirty parts, but for that, because of that, I get a lot less swirls, and I actually clean it off with the foam cannon, as you will see. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to this. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to rinse the car off. Nothing crazy. I literally just, get the water, I rinse it off. Your car is going to have lots and lots of dirt on it, most likely. Even if it doesn't, it's always a great idea to just give it a good hose down. Nothing crazy. Just give it a good hose down just to get everything loose off of there that would come off without you having to actually soap it. All right, now that I have hosed everything down, I'm going to lightly coat it with some soap, and I'm actually going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. And while I do that, I'm going to clean the wheels, and that's a good time to also clean the exhaust or anything else on the car that has nothing to do with the actual paint itself, aside from the windows, because you're going to be spraying it down again. But what you want to do, essentially what you're doing right now is you're going to start from the top down. You're going to let all the nasty, grimy stuff again kind of work itself out. You're going to let it set, and then after that you're going to rinse it off, and then you're going to do it again. But for now, let's just go ahead and start using the soap. And again, like I said, this soap, the job of this is actually to not only clean the car, but it's actually going to remove any kind of wax or anything like that you've had on it previously. So it's good when you're doing it professionally, because you can basically start over. What this is allowing you to do is it's actually allowing you to start over and do your own job on the paint instead of working with someone else's. Like I said, since this is kind of rinsing itself out, now is a great time to take advantage of cleaning the wheels. I'm using the same soap that I did with my paint, but I'm using a very light brush. This is, I don't even know what the heck it's called, but it's a wheel brush that I got off of AutoGeek. It worked extremely well. All I have to do is I have to have soap on it, I have to have water applied to it, and then I have to rinse off the brush a few times, especially for the front ones, but I basically scrub it like they're my teeth. And after doing it for about 30 seconds to a minute, actually probably a little over a minute each wheel, 99% of the brake dust is gone, aside from the stuff that you'd have to go in there and kind of just pick out on your own. So I'll go ahead and get this little guy. I'm only going to be using water. Let's see, that took about a minute, I'm going to guess. And would you look at that? And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to rinse this off. You can see all that brake dust going on the ground. I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to go over it once more, and that's going to be it. That's what I do for every wheel. Okay, so now I've officially gone through, oh, that's not supposed to be on the ground. Now that I've officially gone through and cleaned all my wheels, the soap has had time to kind of do its own thing and work its way down. And you can kind of actually see, if I move along to the back, I'll show you, but you can see that it's actually kind of taken a lot of the residue with it. And it's going to be great because I don't have, that's a lot, well, all that is dirt that I don't have to swirl and push into the paint or into the clear coat as I'm cleaning it off. So it's very nice having to do that. As you can see, my wheels have gotten pretty clean. I'm not trying to go for a showroom finish or anything right now. I actually have used wheel wax before. I mean, I was in the Stance Nation meet that came to Texas, and I went full out, all out for that. But for this, I'm just again kind of restoring the paint, bringing it back. So you can kind of see, you can't really see, I bet you can't see from the GoPro's perspective, but it's taken down a lot of the stuff. But even just a light soap, that soap itself took away a lot of the minerals and stuff like that from the brake dust, which is really nice because you don't have to use a hard cleaner like Sonax, which I do encourage because every once in a while Sonax can be very, very useful. But so now I'm going to move on to actually removing all of this and then spraying it down again and then cleaning it, and then of course spraying it down one more time after that. So let's go ahead and get to it. So just for your information, this go around, I'm actually I'm rinsing the car off pretty extensively. Reasoning for that is because I want to get everything that I just tried to rinse off, I want to make sure it actually goes off and actually falls onto the floor and gets off of my car. Again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get as much off of my car as possible before I actually start hand washing it. So here we go. I just want to show you guys, well, I guess you guys can't really see because you didn't see it before, but like I said, I have a disgusting amount of dead bugs on my car because I drove a lot of miles this weekend. And I was actually very impressed with just that one single coat of soap. I mean, a lot of the big chunks of bugs that were on here, literally just, they aren't even on here anymore. Simply because I let that soap just kind of sit there and soak in. Now a lot of that is, there's probably half the amount of bug guts on the front of my car than there was before. I'm very impressed with that. So that being said, that step that I just showed you is very important if you do have a pressure washer or any kind of hose or anything like that. It's a very important step and it works very, very well. So now I'm going to get to actually washing the car. Alrighty, so here comes the fun part. Woohoo! So like I said earlier, you want to start with the top of the car and you want to work your way down. Reason why is because, well, I mean, it just makes sense to do it that way. You don't have to, but you waste a lot more soap than you need to if you do it any other way. I'm just making sure now the entire car gets a very good amount of soap on it because I'm now going to be washing it by hand, and I want as much soap as I can to aid me with removing all of this nasty crap. And I want to get it everywhere. And now here comes the fun tiring part. So like I said earlier, I am using 3 different mitts, one for the top, another for the main mid sections of the car, not, again, just the top-ish. I'm not just using one just for the roof, but I'm using it for the upper parts of the car, along with the windshield and the stuff like that. But anyways, I'm also using another for the main parts of the car, such as the hood and doors, and then I'm also using another one that's a little bit more heavy duty, that gets the quarter panels in the more dirty parts of the car, such as, well, also not the undercarriage, but the under, like the side skirts and everything like that. So here we go. I'm getting all that. I feel everything just kind of coming off, which is pretty nice. So now I've used it for a minute. Just to be careful, I'm going to go back over to my hose, and instead of dunking it in water, I'm going to just clean it off. And yeah, this might not be as effective as dunking it in water, but you know, I don't have 2 buckets, but besides, I'm about to polish it anyways. So, but I know that seems kind of somewhat careless, but you know, it's true. To the window, to the spoiler, to the spoiler. So I went ahead and dunked this mitt in water. I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this up. I can see the nasty dirt and grime and everything. It's pretty gross. And now my objective is to get as many of this little bugs and stuff like that off as I can. Even though claying the car will get a lot of the imperfections and bugs and stuff like that out, it's best to just get as much of that off as you can before you have to do that. It's very helpful. Along with that, I know I'm getting fairly detailed, but anytime you run across a big section of dirt or anything like that, you always want to make sure that you clean the mitt off, because yes, you will be scrubbing dirt, nasty dirt that will scrape the paint on your car all over the place. So as I get further down here, I'm actually going to save this for the nicer mitt that I have. Okay, so for the third and final mitt, this one will pick up a lot of the good stuff. It also kind of gets in there. So I'm going to start with the front portion of the car. Get all these nasty, humongous, demon-possessed bugs off of here. Okay, so now that I have washed the entire car by hand, I'm going to once more rinse it off with water, and then I will have it dried, and then after it dries, I will be ready to start detailing. Just for your information, this is pretty much the longest, most extensive step to detailing your car, but it's also the most important. So you want to make sure you spend a lot of time on this and do a good job, because the following steps, although they're pretty much just as important, they can't be done without this being done correctly the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing hosed off, soaked off, and we will move on to using the dual action polisher. This is what the car looks like whenever it doesn't have wax on it. So you can kind of tell, I wish I could give you a better example, but you can kind of tell, you can always tell that there's no wax on a car by the way the water runs off of it. So basically there's no wax left on this car, which is nice because, again, I'm basically resetting everything I've ever done, and well, I'm now, in a sense, starting over. So yeah, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and dry this car off, and then I'll get to using the polisher. While there are many ways to dry the car, there are not many ways to do it incorrectly. One completely incorrect way is to do the entire car with a hand towel. You never, ever, 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 ever want to do that. The thing that I use is called a California dry blade. This thing's pretty awesome. I know some of you probably will have a problem with it. Somebody's always going to have a problem with something that I do. But this thing is awesome. It's basically like a medical grade, like just some freaking silicone, and it's awesome. And what I do is I have this microfiber in hand. I will do like a swipe here, and I will clean it off, and I'll do a swipe here. And basically what this does is, because it's a silicone, it kind of conforms to the shape of the car, but on my car it's very difficult for, and this is easier on some cars than others, but my car is very difficult because it's got curves and angles everywhere in the car, and it kind of sucks, but it also makes for a very good looking car. But yeah, this, you can also literally, I know some people that have electric leaf blowers, like little 8 horsepower leaf blowers. There's a lot of ways to do it right, but just please do not use a towel for the entire car. You can use a nice microfiber just to do a little bit of cleanup of the water after you're done, but please do not use, especially not use the same microfiber over the entire car, because that can lead to some issues. That's a big no-no. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and get this dried off. Alright, now that we have done the most extensive and most boring part, we get to go to the fun part. Yay! We get to use a polisher and make our arms tired and sore, and so, yeah. Now, if you have any questions about what a DA polisher is or what it does, there are a lot of videos out there on the internet. I'm not going to take the time to explain what it is or how it works. Plus, the people that explain to them on the YouTubes are probably more qualified than me to talk about them. So, anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for all the rest of the stages, pretty much. I'm going to use it for claying, which is the next process, and again, that is going to take imperfections out of the paint. And if you want to know how that works, well, there's a search bar right up there. I'm just going to show you the process of me doing it, and like I said in the beginning, I'm only going to show you guys a clip of me doing the hood. I'm going to do the rest of the car, but for time's sake, I'm only going to show you the hood because it'd take a long time for me to do the entire car. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get the clay. There are two pieces to this. You've got the little spritzing stuff. It's clay lubricant. You can either buy clay lubricant, or there's actually a concoction, a mixture of some sort out there that involves rubbing alcohol and water. But I'm going to go with the professionals on this, and I'm just going to trust the mixture they give me. But there are ways you can do that. You got your big ball of clay. So you can do it by hand, or you can do it with this device. I know there's a lot of people, and I was totally not in the shop when I said that, I know there's a lot of people out there that are probably griping at me inside right now, that are furious and enraged that I'm using a machine to do this. But I have done both ways. This way saves me about an hour of time. So yeah, while you're sitting there scrubbing your hand for an hour, I'm getting just about the same results, if not the exact same results. And I'm also saving time, so, and I'm also a lot less tired after it's over. Your piece of clay is actually taking up like pieces of like just dirt, minerals, all that kind of stuff inside of your clear coat. They're kind of wedged in there that nothing else can have access to. And the reason why you need the lubricant is because, well, I mean, you've played with silly putty before. If it gets too hot, it's going to start melting, and that's no fun to clean up. You also need a microfiber. What I was going to say a second ago, actually not a second ago, what I was going to say a little bit ago was I cannot stress enough how many times you need to change microfibers during a car detail. You need to at least, at very minimum, switch microfibers between every single job. At least that's what I do. It needs to be scary how much you switch microfibers, because microfibers are washable. You should probably have like 10 of them anyways. If you don't, well, I used like 2 or 3 microfibers just doing the last stage I did alone, just to make sure everything's clean, wiped off, everything like that. That's to prevent any kind of smearing and any kind of swirl, anything like that. I always make sure I'm using a clean microfiber. So I'm using a brand new microfiber for this stage. I will be using a brand new microfiber, not brand new, like one that's been washed. And for the love of all of mankind, do not wash your microfibers with fabric softener. Don't do that. That is the golden rule. And it should be understood by all humans. Do not wash your microfibers with fabric softener. Why? Google. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this because we need to get started, and I'm just sitting here talking for no reason. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, start spritzing everything down, and we're going to make sure that we get all the imperfections out of this hood before I start polishing it, compounding it, and so on. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put it on a low speed, and I'm just going to do portions of the hood at a time, and after I'm done with those little portions, I am then going to wipe it up and make sure it's clean. The cool thing about doing this, my favorite part about playing the car, is this is the biggest stage to where you can actually feel a difference. You can basically, with microfiber, sorry I just ate, so I'm a little bit gassy, I got burps all up in this. You can actually feel a difference in the smoothness, and it's kind of freaky at first, but it's awesome. It's the best feeling in the world. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop wasting time. I'm gonna get to this. So I'm putting it at a low speed, yeah, I'm gonna start working my way on this side of the hood. Alright, so now that I just did that, I'm going to take my microfiber and I'm going to just wipe that residue off. Not residue, but all the, man, and it feels so incredibly sweet. It's ridiculous. Let's go ahead and keep going. So notice that it is picking up a lot of the dirt and everything like that. You're going to pick up a lot of the nasties. Sorry, I'm going to refocus on the car. You're going to pick up a lot of the nasty stuff with this. And I want to let you guys know that it's okay to change speeds if you are using a polisher. If not, whatever. But there are some areas of focus to where you're going to have a bug or something along those lines. It won't come off. You can focus a little bit on that area and make sure you get that bug off. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe off the area. I just lay it down, and I'm going to move on to the rest of the car. So that's going to conclude this small section of playing. Okay, so completely random side note, but this clay lubricant smells amazing. For some reason, every single clay lubricant I've ever bought always smells wonderful. So that was random, but it's true. And I apologize for the loud construction in the background. Apparently they are building the Eiffel Tower or something along those lines next door to me, or at least that's how it seems, because it's taking them that long to build that. So, but yeah, anyways, moving on. Yay! Here come the next few steps. These are going to be pretty fun. So, in this order, this is what's about to happen. What I'm doing next with this cutting pad. And by the way, with all the videos and all the learning I've ever done, it's always better to do a lighter cutting pad rather than a more aggressive cutting pad. Even though I'm doing a compound, which is pretty aggressive in itself, supposedly, I'm using a somewhat light cutting pad. It's not, well, I wouldn't say light by any means, but this cutting pad's meant for doing any kind of polish, minor polishing, or even a very light compounding. And that's what I want to do. My car doesn't have a bunch of swirls, but it has tons of love marks. But it's also got a few deeper cuts that I have not ever been able to get because I've never compounded the car. So I'm going to do that, and then after that, by the way, I'm using this right here. It's Wolfgang 3.0 Uber compound. So yeah. And then after that, I'm going to be using, nope, not that one. I'm going to be using the same cutting pad, or the same style with the Pinnacle Advanced Swirl Remover. This actually works pretty well. I've used this a couple times on the car, and then after that I'm going to use the finishing polish by Pinnacle as well. So that's going to be that. And then after that, I'm not using this cutting pad, but I will be applying Wolfgang 3.0 Deep Gloss Paint Sealant, which is probably the best wax I have ever used in my life. This sealant, I'll talk about a little bit later, is amazing. Simply because, well, basically, it makes your car look beautiful. After you let it cure for 30 minutes to an hour, it does an amazing job at sealing the paint. And then basically, the lovely thing about this is the first wax I've ever used. It's basically like, oh hey, rain? I don't care. That's basically what your paint says when it rains. It was supposed to be like swatting away, like, no, I don't want you rain. So yeah, that's why I love it so much. It's a great paint sealant to use, but I have a long way to go before I start using the sealant. So I'm going to go ahead and start compounding the car. And again, like I said, this compound is going to get rid of the deeper swirls. And so I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to just go. I'm going to get this done. Now what you're going to want to do is, before you start cutting, is you want to make sure, now I've seen several people do this different methods, but shake what you're about to, shake what your mama gave you. Not literally, shake what you bought. But first you want to open it. Like I said, I haven't used this before. Oh, hey, it doesn't come with a little seal. So you want to disperse this all through the pad. Let's see. Right here. Right here. There's a couple dots. The reason why is because I want the entire pad to be coated, so it just basically goes on there evenly. I want the entire pad to feel it. I want to feel it. Alright, so I'm going to put a big dot in the middle. That's how I do it. And then I'm going to kind of spread it in a certain area. Again, I'm doing kind of a medium, low speed. I'm not doing it too fast, but so I'm going to kind of spread it on the area of effect. And then I'm going to do it. By the way, a rolly chair is literally probably one of the best investments you could probably make because it's amazing. You don't have to sit there and squat. It's great. So the first thing I notice is that a lot of the major swirls are now gone. I still have two types of polish that I'm going to apply to this, which are going to eliminate the smaller swirls and then some of the smaller scratches. But a lot of the major swirls are now gone. And now I'm going to apply this to the rest of my car, and then I will come back and then I will do the other couple steps for you guys. Now I am finished with the compound. And I'll just have you guys know I won't be compounding my car for a pretty long time now because compounding is one of the heaviest stages. And usually you don't use the compound with any kind of heavier pad unless you have some kind of like oxidation or pretty heavy swirls. And I did have some pretty heavy swirls. I just wanted to do that. So I've got that out of the way. And now I basically can't even feel my hands. Now I'm going to go ahead and start using my Pinnacle Advanced, Swirl Remover. I was going to say, I grabbed the wrong one. So I am basically going to use this and do kind of the same process, about the same thing, except it's going to have somewhat different results. But all three of these combined, again, I have my finishing polish next. These three things combined are going to kind of end up kind of filing down everything, evening everything out, and then making it a very smooth finish. And then after you do that, you seal everything off for good. So, let's go ahead and get to it. I'm going to just swirl it around, make sure it's in every little piece. The funny thing is you can definitely feel that this right here is a lot more fluid. Definitely not as thick as the compound. The compound was extremely thick. So here we go. Give it a couple dots. And yeah. Oh, and also on this stage, just to let you guys know, I will be also doing my headlights. Actually, I'm doing that headlight because it's slightly oxidized. So, let's go. All of my swirls in the hood are essentially gone, but you can't really see them. There are some little bitty teeny tiny ones that you can't see very well, but those will be taken out by the finishing polish. But so that's going to be that for this stage. I'm going to go ahead and finish it up on the rest of the car. You know the drill, and I will be back momentarily. So I am now finished with swirl remover. Looks wonderful. There are a few small scratches and swirls randomly, just sporadically throughout the car, but that is why I am moving on. Oh my goodness. Moving on to my finishing polish. I'm moving on to the finishing polish, and what this is going to do is it's basically just gonna finish. I mean, it's not really rocket science. I mean, swirl remover, you know, you don't exactly have to be a high school graduate to understand what that means. So finishing polish, it's going to finish what I've been doing. And then after that, man, I already can't feel my shoulder. This is pretty ridiculous. But after that, I know I keep on switching angles, keep on switching points of views, and I keep on like backing up, moving forward, going down and going up and stuff like that. Anyways, so yeah, two more steps, pretty much, two more big steps. So yeah, and then I got a few finishing things at the end, but for the most part, got a couple more steps and we're done. So now, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm using the same style pad, that orange pad, and I'm going to use the advanced finishing polish. And just a side note, just to make you guys aware, again, along with switching microfibers, you also, if you're using the same one, you also want to be cautious. You want to make sure you're flipping it over, you're using different sides. I actually fold mine in fourths, like it's like the one laying on my windshield right now. Fold it in fourths. I use different sides, and it usually lasts a little bit longer, but you also frequently want to be checking just to be absolutely sure you didn't pick up any small rocks, little sticks, anything like that that can go in there and install swirls. Because it really wouldn't make any sense for you to be installing swirls while you are removing swirls. Doesn't really make much sense now, does it? So anyways, what I'm going to do is the exact same process, so I'm not going to video it. I'm going to do the exact same process what I've been doing the past couple times, and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it through the entire car, and then I'm going to put the wax on. But I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show you what it looks like before the wax and then after the wax as well. So here we go for a couple more times. Let's do this. Alright, so now my arms are basically dead. Here I am done with the polishing stage, and I'm about to move to the waxing stage. And unfortunately, it is becoming pretty dark outside, so I will not be able to show you results till tomorrow, which doesn't apply to any of you anyways, because you won't be seeing this until the day it comes out. So I will go ahead and do a walk around and just show you kind of how my car looks. Yeah, let's see. And yeah, Chris, my buddy, just got here. He just got back in town today too. Alright, so it's pretty shiny. There you go. So this is pretty good right here. So this is pre-wax. So what the wax is going to do is it's basically going to seal anything, and it's also going to fill in if I missed any scratches or anything like that. So it's pretty dang shiny if you can't tell. But yeah, so go ahead and I will apply the wax. just like I did before. So, last, but absolutely not least, I get to finally apply the 3.0 deep gloss paint sealant, and that is going to make the car shine and look pretty, like I just kind of explained. I'm going to use the very soft red pad, and I'm just going to, at a very low speed, a lot slower than what I did for polishing, I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to spread it throughout the car. And then after that, I'm going to let it set for about an hour, and yeah, then I'll show you guys after. With this, by the way, you always want to make sure it is very shaken up before you apply it. And you just want to kind of apply it on there, again, at a very low rate of speed. Just smear it all over the car. That's about as easy as it gets. So I'm at a pretty low speed. You can always, the best thing is you can always start lower and move your way up. That's what I would recommend. So we're going to do that. Here we go. And this stuff smells amazing. It smells like freaking toothpaste on steroids. Just a little tip, you want to try and make this little cable not touch your car as much as possible, if that makes sense, just because. So, just putting that out there. Okay, so now I have gone through and waxed the entire car, as you can see. Nice even application. I mean, there's really not much to see, but so I've done that. So basically, now all I have to do is I have to wait and let that cure for about an hour or so. It doesn't really matter, but as long as it's longer than like 30 minutes, it'll be good. But in that time, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to put Rain-X on my windows, and then I'm going to do some finishing touches on some of the rest of the car. So yeah, there we go. I'll go ahead and move on to some of the other stuff that I'm going to do. So this is the finished product. It's actually been 2 days since I detailed my car, because I literally don't think I had time to pick up a camera yesterday. But yeah, it is very shiny. I wish I could get closer and show the finish. And yes, I did know it was supposed to rain today, but like I said, I did this because I wanted to reseal and just kind of redo the finish, because winter is coming, and well, winter's supposed to be pretty crazy this year, so yeah, you can see it's pretty shiny. But also, like, if you, the coolest thing about having very detailed paint is you can take your finger and you can basically rub the back part against it. I wouldn't use the, like, your actual, this part of your finger to touch it, because you can get oils on your car. But if you rub the back of it, it's extremely smooth. Like, it's flawless, and you can feel it. So that's literally like my favorite part, especially whenever you are cleaning it off or wiping it off. Use a microfiber, and it's like the microfiber literally slides all over the car. So I'll do a quick walk around for you guys. All right, so here I'll show you. This is very shiny. Closer to the back. You can actually, I'll zoom into the background and show you how shiny it is. It's just like it's a big red mirror, basically. But yeah, let's see. I'll have you look into that. There we go. So you can kind of see there might be a scratch or two. There might be a scratch or two, like a very small one. But I mean, I'm moving along the hood, and you can't. It's basically flawless, except for some of these little parts right here. Like you can see, there are some scratches, but for the most part, it's pretty ridiculously clean. I love it. So this basically, now you can see the top of it. I did the entire car. This will keep my car sealed, and it will Let's see. So keep my paint sealed, and it'll kind of protect it from some of the harsher stuff that might happen with weather. But you can see my car is literally a mirror. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so along with what I did, I finished the detail. Basically what I did was I waxed it, wiped it off. Nothing, no biggie. I let it cure for about an hour and a half. And then I wiped it off. But I literally, the only other things I did was I used Rain-X, just like the cheap $6, $7 Rain-X you get at the store. I sprayed it on the windshield and I use it on all my windows, and it works wonders. It's amazing. Rain literally just flies off of my car. Like, it literally is like my car is a trampoline for water. Not really, it just slides off, but it's still very cool. I mean, aside from that, I used, I think it's Meguiar's. It's like a Meguiar's Hot Shine, and not a lot of people use it because a lot of people think it's cheap, which, I mean, it really is. It's not a permanent solution, but it kind of blackens up the tires a little bit. So I like it, but there are some oils out there that actually will get a deeper shine into the tire. So I did that, and I actually used, for the first time, I used a product called Black Wow. And let's see if I can get it. Trying to get it to where, here we go. It's a little dirty. I mean, like I said, I detailed like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. That was actually starting to kind of fade a little bit from the sun, and I'll show you this as well. This right here. Man, I can't even, I should have wiped down the whole thing. I guess it was dark and I couldn't really see. But oh my gosh, this stuff should be not called Black Wow, it should be called Black Holy Tits. This stuff works amazingly. Yeah, I mean, this was completely faded. I mean, it was not completely faded, but it was pretty much a darker gray. And now it is black. And it's pretty ridiculous, and it's supposed to only work on plastics, so it says you're not supposed to use it on anything interior or on tires. But I also did this right up here. I didn't really finish it, but yeah. So yeah, that is my detailed 2008 STI. I really appreciate you guys watching. It did take me a long time to make this video, and I'm actually in the middle of rendering it right now. It's been rendering. I have like literally like 30 gigabytes of footage, so that's nice. So yeah, and they're still doing construction, of course. It's nice. So here we go. That is, I know a lot of you guys were very curious on how I did my details and what I did to my car, so that is my video explaining how I do it. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions for me, you can obviously ask me in the comment section, as I always tell you. But please, I mean, if you have any recommendations or questions about anything in the future, just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to answer those for you. So again, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff about my car or me. If you want to see me being absolutely goofy and weird like I always am, you should subscribe, because it'll make you happy and it'll make you a better person, and you'll be lame if you don't subscribe. Nobody likes to be lame, so you know, hit that subscribe button. I think I just said subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. So anyways, peace out, and hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.